Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome home. Today's video is going to be about our daily bread, and today is July 24th, 2019, and it is, no, my page flipped because of the fan. I apologize. Rewind. It is July 22nd, and I'm thinking, where have I been? Because I just uploaded two Our Daily Breads last night. My goodness sakes. I'm okay. I'm alright. Yes. Yes. I just got done eating, so it should catch up with me. Today was a very interesting read. I did read it, and I went ahead and read the part of the Genesis of where this has been taken from. And, it's a good lesson, very, very good lesson. And it's this poor Joseph. Oh my goodness sakes, just poor guy. He's just, you know, it happens to everybody. It happens to everybody. So let's go ahead and read this. It says, faithful in captivity. Harlan Provo had no idea what turned his life would take when the doorbell rang early one morning in 1948. Without any warning, the Bulgarian police took Harlan away to prison because of his faith. He spent the next 13 years behind bars, praying for strength and courage. Despite the horrible treatment, he knew God was with him, and he shared good news of Jesus with the fellow prisoners, and many believed. In the account of Genesis 37, Joseph had no idea what would happen to him after he was mercilessly sold by his angry brothers to the merchants who took him to Egypt and sold him to Potiphar, an Egyptian official. He found himself in a culture surrounded by people who believed in thousands of gods. To make things worse, Potiphar's wife tried to seduce Joseph, and when Joseph refused repeatedly, she falsely accused him, leading him into being sent to prison. Yet, God did not abandon him. Not only was he with Joseph, but he also gave him success in everything he did, and even showed him kindness and granted him a favor with those in authority. Imagine the fear Joseph must have felt, but he remained faithful and kept his integrity. God was with Joseph and his difficult journey and had a master plan for him. He has a plan in mind for you too. Take heart, walk in faith, trusting. He sees and he knows. He sees and he knows. That is a very, very good reading. Like I had stated, this was taking connection with the Genesis. I went ahead and read the whole Genesis chapter 37, and I never read that before until today. And that poor gentleman, you know, people want things that they cannot have, and and when they make untruthful statements, God knows. While Joseph was there in prison, the Lord was with him too. Even though you could be going through a very difficult time, I've experienced, the Lord is with you. He is right by your side. He is protecting you, and I can vouch for that, knowing this past 3 years, the turbulence that I and Ray both have gone through. He is with us, believe me. Oh my goodness. The first question, maybe I should have waited to say that until I read the questions. I've not read the questions, and the file cabinet's opening up. It says, what difficult situation have you experienced, and perhaps one in which you were falsely accused? This one is going to ruffle some feathers because this is a good one. This is a and this has been on my heart, and I have forgiven them. But this one has been always on my heart, and I'm happy this one came out today. Because in church yesterday we learned about forgiveness, and there's certain things that I thought I have forgiven, and today's a good day. I have forgiven them for what they have done and what they have falsely accused me of. Totally. Why is it vital for you to remain in your integrity? Wow. You know, grab that cup of coffee. Oh my goodness sakes. When one is falsely accused of something, it always feels like the normal behavior that we go through is, the first one is shock. What did you just say? And disbelieve, and then you get depressed, like, why would they say that about me? Why did they not come to me? What? You know, you have all of these questions because you know in your heart what the truth is. And I got to a point, and I will share with you what had happened. My situation is that, you know, if it's this ugly, I got to the point, I'm not going to even plead my case because you already believe what you want to believe. My character is not showing you the truth, and that's what really, it's taken me years to get over that. This is going, like I had stated, this is going to ruffle some feathers, and this is reality, and this is the truth. It's so funny. God works in mysterious ways. When I had read the first question, the file drawer, like I had stated, was open, and the first thing that popped out was the situation where I was terminated from the American Red Cross for being falsely accused, and I did not fight it. And then I will explain to you why I did not fight it. And it was a really horrific beginning of my journey. That was the devil knew what he was doing exactly. So I was going through in the process of my marriage was ending. After 16-17 years, and I am not here to bash my ex-husband. There is decisions that he made that was not healthy for the marriage. We both have recognized the situation, and we have came to grips of we are at the stage of respecting each other. But during that time, it was not where it is today. There's always has to be a healing point. Also on that, I was wearing my mask, meaning I was going through a very severe depression and anxiety, trying to hide what the turmoil, what my home life was. I was doing the best I could do. When you are going through a time, a divorce, or a child going through a difficult time, my daughter was going through a difficult time during this time, my son, and it just, you're not 100%. And I can state, I can agree that I was not okay. And I think what really frustrates me, and I will voice this, is that a lot of companies, corporations, if there's an individual who has, this is just an example, If there is someone who's having difficulty with drinking or with or drugs, they pull them into HR and say, no, we recommend you doing this. We have this available for you to do, to go through, you know, these courses or things like that, or get some assistance or some counseling. Okay. Nothing was brought to my attention of my work performance until this day. Now, I think they were, I don't know, they didn't know what was going on. And my attendance was being affected. I can honestly vouch for that one. My attendance was being very, very affected, and it was due to the anxiety and the depression and my marriage failing. My life was ending, meaning I was the hostess with the mostest. I was the coach's wife. You know, that whole facade, that those labels I was carrying was ending, and I didn't know who I was as an individual. I wasn't strong enough at the time, and I can honestly say that. So with me going through that, when I was going through, I put my work, I put my love into my work. I knew the foundation of what the American Red Cross is to save lives, and that is on the donation side, and that's on the volunteer side, and I was on the donation side. When I was terminated, I was an instructor. I was teaching students to do how to do whole blood. I was also trained in the apheresis with the Alex machine and also the Trima machine. I think Carol and I were the only ones at that time in the state of Kansas that had the 3 underneath their belt, and it was an honor. It was a challenge, and I pushed myself, and that was my way of escaping. And it's not always healthy to escape that way, because you're neglecting something. I remember the day. It was March 27th. I think I was in the lobby or in the waiting room. I don't know if we were instructing at the time or we were doing evaluations. I don't remember that part of it. My supervisor had, everyone was acting very unique. I think everyone knew it was coming. I just didn't know. Everyone did know it was coming. I was the last one to know. So I was called by my supervisor to go upstairs in the HR. And the monotone, the feeling was very, very dark, very, it's almost like a guilt feeling. She felt very uncomfortable doing what she was about to do. And I understand more of it today, because I think she hesitated. She didn't do a lot of investigating. She didn't question me before this was done. There was no, what's going on in your life? This is happening. What can we do to assist? There was nothing like that happening at all. Nothing. So, they brought me upstairs, and it was in the room, closed off room with the speaker there, and on the speaker was telecom with the person. I don't even remember the location where this phone call was coming in at. I don't know if it was St. Louis. I don't remember. It was Kristen. I don't remember if any. Oh, of course, the HR. And it was brought to my attention that they were concerned that I was not training well. I wasn't confident in what I was doing. And there was an example of, there was a question said to me by a member that I was instructing, that it was, I would have to make sure, and what I stated was, let me make sure before I give you an answer, because I was not okay that day. This something that happened at home. And with the kids, it was Sydney. And I had stated, we had already split. I had told the student, let me make sure with my supervisor before I give you an answer. I mean, I want to make sure, I don't want to say, yeah, that's right. I mean, I wanted to make sure. And to me, I felt that was the right decision at that time, for the fact I don't want to mislead or give my students incorrect information. That would make a situation much worse. And it was dealing with the ice and putting onto the blood. And I remember today, this gentleman had asked me about an apheresis question, and we were dealing with whole blood. So that was, and that's where the questions were a little foggy, and that was really, it should have been more investigated. And the weight of the blood and the plasma and the platelets, because apheresis is a different situation than whole blood. So that is the reason why I had told this gentleman, but it was never questioned me. The next thing that it was mentioned to me that I was falsely accused of, that kills me. And I forgive them. I know it was a combination of them that had told incorrect information. Was, I had stated we needed to shut down a blood drive. We were just rolled out a new software with wireless, but we had to go hardwire on it because the signal was not going good. And they said I just demanded up to the individual who was holding the blood drive that we need to shut this down. I am going to be blatantly honest with you, and you can go back on any of my history. My children know the importance of donating blood, where you can save up to 3 lives. And the reason why you might be able to save up to 3 lives, it depends on your platelets, meaning the travel of it and being separated from the whole blood. That is the only reason. The way you save 3 lives is dealing with the 3 components, your red cells, your plasma, and your platelets. And it comes down to how long it's going to get to the area for it to be done. I was horrified that someone said that I wanted a blood drive shut down, and I was in a numb. I just shut down because I was kicked to the curb, meaning with going through that nasty, ugly divorce, and knowing what's happening to my children, and then trying to survive my head above water, and then being falsely accused, and you didn't question me. I was gone. That was my breaking point, number 1. Falsely accused. It's a horrific situation, and I felt like I was embarrassed. I'm thinking, that's not my character. That's not me. That is not me. And okay, so I was told that I was terminated, to sign a piece of paper. I was numb. I was so numb. I was dark. It was very, very dark. So I was followed by another, it was a same level as a staff employee. It was not an upper. Followed me into our training area, and I grabbed all my supplies. And I asked for someone to take me home. And they were surprised. They were blown away, and I broke down crying. I was like, this was my only safe haven. This was my safe place, and people turned on me. So it hurts. And it's taken years to really blah it out. And another thing that I heard, I don't know if it was true, and the reasoning is I wasn't there, I didn't hear it. I don't want to state something that's not, it's gossip. And I'm thinking, please, Lord, forgive them. And I remember saying that, forgive her, for she does not know. They don't know the truth. And I think the number 3 was my attendance. And that wasn't even debatable. I mean, that, I can't, that's the truth. That part of that whole scenario was the truth. With the situation, with the gentleman making up a situation, was nauseous. And then being said that is, but it's okay. Today it's okay, because God, that was my dream job. My dream job. I love teaching. I love to teach the love of helping others. And I wanted to empower them. I wanted to validate that they're making a difference. And you guys knowing me, I think character will show a lot. And if I'm going through a hard time, I'm going to say, this is what's going on. Back then, that was my safe haven, my job, haven, I should say. That was my escape. And I was afraid to say what was going on. They never questioned me. And being falsely accused hurts. Today, if I was ever falsely accused of something, what I would say, Father, please forgive them, for you will meet them. My character, I'm okay for who I am. I will be the first one, and you guys know that, the first one to say, yeah, I messed up. That was difficult. That was a life-changing. And then a year later, on an exact date, March 27th, 2013, I was fired in 2012, and I lost my vehicle in 2013. And that's when I learned also during this time that people make some very irrational decisions that they're going to pay for them. God will say, why were you doing that to my child? Why did you do that? I've forgiven them. I've forgiven her. I've forgiven all of them. We're all fighting a battle. Every one of us are going through a journey. Believe me, I'm not angry. Yes, it hurt. But yes, I was falsely accused. And yes, I have forgiven. I have. God will face those individuals who did not speak truth. That's all I have to say. God knows what I went through because with those false accusations. So, why is it vital for you to maintain your integrity? I think the most important thing is integrity. I would say it is being falsely accused. I didn't fight it. I was numb. I was surprised. Today, if I was falsely accused, the people who truly know me, and they would say, that's not Jay. Something's going on. I would have to ask her. Those are people that know. Me keeping my integrity, I am not worried about what people think of me because I am who I am. I will speak truth, and I am not here to gain anything. I am here to empower you, to make you feel home, to validate You too. I understand. You're not the only one who's alone in this. And uplift you. I mean, that's always been my way. Always. And in today's prayer, I've not read it. God, thank you for being with me always, even when life's circumstances cause me to be uncomfortable. Help me to be faithful to you. Amen. I don't have to prove myself. No. I'm human. I make mistakes. They're human. They make mistakes. It's a learning thing. You know what I pray for? I pray one of my friends who remained my friend during this time will think, that's what happened. It makes sense now. Yeah, that's what happened. They never questioned me, but they remained my friend. They said they prayed for me. They remained my friend. God seen that. So if you are employed in a company, I ask from you today, if you're working with somebody and you notice a difference in tone or behavior or pulling away, or maybe they're missing more work than normal, I would bring it to someone as a supervisor or a leader or somebody who's in charge, and in confidentiality, do not be gossip this, and say, this is my concern. I don't know if I think we need to pull her in or pull him in and talk, and is there something we can present to them? Maybe they need some resources to help them so we can make this role a little smoother. That's all I ask from you. Be on guard. Be a servant. If you're working for something that helps others, be an example. Show in your character. Please. So, this is a long one, and I apologize, and thank you for sitting through this, but being falsely accused, just like Joseph, and when she ripped off his cloak and then she laid it against her bed for her husband to come through, and then he accused him and put him in prison. You know, I was in prison for those 3 years until someone said, that's not her. That's not Jay. It was tough, but I had faith. I kept my faith. There's days I fell, believe me, but yeah. When you're thrown to the wolves or the lions or in prison, just ask him to be next to you. So, until tomorrow, be good to yourself, be good to others, for we just do not know what part of this journey they're on. And I want you to think about something. I wasn't going to say anything, but the names of the individuals who had done this to me, I will never ever mention. And the reasoning behind that is they're on a different journey today. This should not be controlling how their journey is going today. They'll face their Creator. This is an example. You are not alone. I know you have been falsely accused, but have faith and forgive them and still be that beautiful person that you are. I love you always. And thank you again for your patience. Until tomorrow.